Welcome back to Movie Recaps. Today I will show you a comedy film from 20. Watch out and take care. In Phoenix, Arizona, house. As she gives up without a fight, she remembers how all this got started. Olympic race walker, but this isn't the kind of thing that makes you rich or famous. Now a very tense relationship with. Because they weren't capable of having children, they got pregnant, she lost the baby. That's when Rick decided to take a traveling position. When he's home, he doesn't treat Connie well, constantly reminding her that she's jobless. He was ready to give up after the first one, and scolds her for spending too much money on her obsession. Connie hoards coupons and then buys things in large quantities, putting it all away in the side of Rick not being around so much as Connie getting the chance to befriend her neighbor Jojo. She lives with her mother Josie and is having trouble finding work because her identity. She flirts with the mailman Earl and sells makeup door to door, which isn't going very well. Gives cashier Greg dozens of coupons for her purchase. It holds back the line for $1 to 16. Connie always likes to say that if you watch the pennies, while putting away the groceries on the shelves, she gets upset when she sees the baby wallpaper could heal her depression. The cereal turns out to be stale, so Connie uses it. A few days later, Connie receives a coupon for free cereal in the mail. When she goes to the market to exchange it with a smug attitude, Greg explains she isn't lame. This inspires Connie to send a bunch of letters to different manufacturers even of coupons for free stuff. Connie shows them to Jojo, who is shocked to see it would still be cheaper than the actual price. Her offer makes Connie realize selling stuff great business. After searching the internet, she discovers that the coupons are made in a bunch to resell. Jojo is skeptical at first, but since she's drowning in debt, loss prevention officer Ken is doing his job at a local market. When a cashier has the manager asks if they can honor it anyway because the old lady has been their client for decades. Ken's manners are incredibly poor, earning him some insults from the old lady. A mother asks him if he could please switch seats with her daughter so she can watch the landing to help. An important lesson for the kid to learn. When he finally arrives at his lonely apartment next day in Mexico, Connie and Jojo make it to the coupon factory and watch the employee Rosa, a couple that is already breaking the rules but doesn't look too dangerous. But after Connie and Jojo clarify they're there for help, they are welcome at Alejandro's and their salaries are a joke, so it's easy for Connie and Jojo to come forward with their offer later in the USA and share part of the profits. Alejandro isn't sure it's a goodie. Making a plan isn't too difficult. The factory is divided into printing. Each side usually doesn't know what the other does. With every coupon they print, they ship those extras to Connie and Jojo when their trucks do their distributions around the USA. Box with coupons, not a legal activity. A few days later, the duo to sell them and promote it on Connie's channel. Their business quickly becomes a success. Too. Ken receives dozens of letters and phone calls from managers complaining until he can find a credit card number behind one of the many purchases made with these coupons. If they use this coupon and learns about the website that sells them, promoted by a black woman on the website, he finds the motto, "If you watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves." Account has been frozen because it's received too much money too quickly. To unfreeze, don't know how to do this properly, so in their desperation, they decide to contact Tina for promoting this so freely because it can be all traced back to them. So after deleting Joe clean their money, they'll get a bunch of fake IDs, bank accounts, and a stash for spending their money so every connection they've established to their real names can have time to disappear. She gives them a special encrypted USB stick for them to keep their important files in. Internet for Ken to follow. He goes to the FBI and gets told they'll look into it, but throw the case to their lowest desk worker Albert. Since he has nothing better to do, Rick's brand as a cover and Tina's fake IDs, the coupon scam begins growing into a guy every day. 6 months later, the duo is ready to spend their money. Remembering a story of Rick's about a client of his, Connie decides that they need to buy sales will be seen as clean. After convincing all the banks to give them the money in cash, Jojo go on an incredibly expensive shopping trip. They buy sports cars, boat, they take a trip to Las Vegas, where they discuss their future plans. Jojo treatment again. Meanwhile, Ken finally receives the call from the FBI on the internet because an expert has deleted all cookie trails, but since the coupons are being 2 days later, Ken meets Simon, a postal inspector, site so they can take a good look at the system. When the envelope arrives a couple of days, but it actually comes from Arizona thanks to the special numbers on the online stamp. Already knows all the supermarkets in the area. Back to Connie, she makes an appointment, hasn't told Rick she's doing this. The doctor informs her this is her last shot. Later in the evening, Tina contacts them again to know where all the money has gone. By using Jojo's cosmetics brand, they had already cleaned the money. Now they make in small amounts per day. When Rick comes back from his latest business trip, in a sales job, and that she doesn't use coupons anymore. This greatly pleases Rick, the treatment with a donor's seed. In the meantime, Ken and Simon are interrogating obsessions. When they get to Greg, they find the information they need. He does Penny's motto, which Ken remembers having seen on the website. The next day, about a coupon blonde. Nobody remembers Connie, but when they hear the word coupon tips on YouTube. Back to the duo, selling all their stuff on eBay is cafe for a drink. They find two men from a gun club, So they get their club's address and visit amazing sales pitch, but the leader still refuses to buy them. So the duo agrees to make them. Ken and Simon interrogate Earl in private, but he refuses to give them any information. There, he leaves her a note in an envelope disguised as regular mail. Among the bills which Joe doesn't know is that Ken and Simon have followed him there, and now they'll do surveillance outside the house. Jojo comes home, and the men realize this is the black woman the housewife had seen on the dancing in the middle of her driveway to celebrate the amazing deal she made earlier. The next day pays no attention to the mail, so she drives to the stash house as usual. She's the blonde from Greg's description. Simon gathers other postal inspectors. It's very easy for them to find Connie's and Jojo's identities, especially when they show up. Jojo can't sleep, so after checking on her mom, she goes to the kitchen to get a snack. But it's too late. Simon arrives with his men and arrests Connie. Jojo raided. The arrest appears on the news, and Earl is surprised to see Jojo's face on. Josie quickly say they had nothing to do with it and accept to cooperate with the authorities. They're talking about, but they found her videos on her computer. Connie on the other hand, 40 years to life for fraud. If she takes full responsibility for starting all ill. Jojo is released on bail. She thinks Josie paid it, but it was actually. Sadly, Connie isn't as lucky. Rick only visits her to scold her and refuses to. The investigation continues and the inspectors trace the coupons back to Alejandro and Rosa. Appeared. Since the trail has gone cold, the Mexican government won't go after them. Proves to be the right decision. On the day of the trial, the lawyer convinces everyone that cons do all the time. His tactic is a success and Jojo gets 10 days in prison with the possibility of parole. Simon and Ken aren't happy with this result and on the women because the brands on the coupons pressed for leniency to avoid bad press. Cost them is just pocket change. Now the case is over, Simon must leave work with him, but he also needs to dial down the attitude a little. As days pass, nicer, making exceptions for old clients with fake coupons and finally gathering the courage she wanted, and the fertility treatment turns out to be a success, so she spends her months into the scam's earnings, but luckily, they ignore the boxes in the nursery thinking it's just Connie has been hiding cash in them all along. After getting together with Earl, to start a new scam under another cosmetics brand, waiting for Connie to come over. When make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.